One last element that really is important to global citizenship is this idea of inspiring students to take action. I have to say, I did think that the most interesting activity that we did this semester had to do with watching the video on the t-shirt and really tracing the steps of not only how that t-shirt was made, but also looking at the different communities that it's made in. I'll be the first to admit that I did not know much about Bangladesh, and to see the conditions that those women were working under and how it was tied into their social status, also their, economic situations. It was just very interesting to see. And I do think that if I don't have much knowledge of that, my students certainly don't either. So I do like the global mapping activity where the kids have an opportunity to perhaps explore an area of the world, or explore even something as simple as how is clothing made in other parts of the world, to satisfy that desire that they have to know and to learn and to really enjoy, I think, the process of inquiry. I know that I don't do enough of that, and I would really like to start gearing my lessons towards that idea that the students come up with the questions, the students tell me what they want to explore, and then they go from there. It's also really important for their engagement, for them to have, I guess, a joy of what they're looking into, and that perhaps is something too that I could do a better job with. But I do think ultimately the global mapping activity would work out really well for them in terms of just piquing their interest about certain topics that maybe once in a while they think about, but they've never actually sat down to look into and to find out more about. I also really like the global mapping activity because I do think that it encourages students to take responsibility for their actions. They, again, are seeing parts of the world that they're not necessarily familiar with. So to give them the opportunity to actually explore how other people live is such an important part of that activity. And I want them to really think about how what they do impacts other people. And again, locally, nationally, globally. I would even start small, just with locally. Get them to really think about how they're impacting the people in their town with their actions, and then how that ends up becoming a trickle-down effect. So overall, I do think that it was really important for me to think about in this class those themes of global citizenship and how to best introduce them to my students. And I think ultimately it just comes down to making the lessons relevant, making the material relevant, showing the students how they can be an impactful member and citizen of their community, of this country, of this world, and overall getting them to really think about the fact that it's important for them to act when they know that they need to and help other people out.